Hey, let's talk about this rock. You wake up one morning, and before the coffee machine even beeps, the notifications are already buzzing over your head. Your inbox is like Hydra. Answer one, two more pop up. The calendar is tick-tock packed. Quick 15-minute syncs stretch to 55. That tiny Friday update file you opened turns into a Sunday night close. There's a light but stubborn weight on your chest. It has a name, you know it, Burnout, and it has an older name, Sisyphus's stone. The myth says this: there's a rock at the foot of a mountain. You push it up, and right as you near the top, it slips and rolls back down. Forever, the divine punishment that today we voluntarily gift wrap and call a career goal. Here's the modern irony. It's not God's handing out the punishment anymore, it's calendar invites, and we still miss the key point of the story. Sisyphus's curse wasn't the rock's weight as much as his inability to object to the rock's direction. Our job is not to romanticize the weight, it's to find the courage to drop the rock when we need to. I can already hear you grumbling, drop it? In this economy? There's rent, the 401k, kids' school costs, that famous American healthcare system. But let's be honest about one thing. Burnout isn't just a side effect of working hard. It's the price of being trapped in uncontrolled, meaningless, endless loops. When there's meaning, the intensity carries you. When there isn't, the intensity drags you. Think about Sisyphus. He actually had three options, but the myth gets told like there was only one line. 1. Keep pushing the rock exactly as it is. 2. Shape the rock into something else. 3. Learn to put the rock down. We blow up the first option into corporate culture. We package the second as creativity on conference stages, and we treat the third like a fire alarm. But the third isn't running away. Sometimes it's the only mature choice. Dropping isn't quitting. It's the capacity to change direction. Let's go into the psychology of burnout. Your brain's reward circuit is hungry for short-term completions. Sent, approved, done. Those little wins polish the dopamine, but they don't feed the meaning circuit. Meaning usually shows up over time, taking a project from end to end, creating real value, doing work that genuinely helps someone. The problem is this: meaning is delayed, notifications are instant. The instant dopamine of pings drowns out the slow arriving serotonin of meaning. So you start your day polishing the scuffs on the rock side and end the evening right back at the foot of the hill. I respect the speed of American culture. It's one of the engines of the place. But that speed can turn into a propeller spinning in neutral. Hustle gets romanticized, rest triggers guilt. Posts that start with, "We worked like crazy, no sleep," create an invisible norm. You don't have to reach the summit. You just have to look like you're pushing. Meanwhile, your nervous system doesn't respond to screenshots. It responds to reality. Your heart rate won't drop because a status update looks good. Let's zoom the scene out for a second. Modern shapes of the rock. The unending flow of a Slack channel. Sales targets that reset every morning. The third, just 3 minutes approval chain. Unwritten expectations. The customer is always right. Dogma. The 5% faster obsession. These are the invisible nails making the rock heavier. And yeah, sometimes you didn't choose the rock. A resume, a market, a city chose you. But you can choose the direction. Direction means rhythm. If you can choose the rhythm, you can manage the weight. Remember that moment when Sisyphus nears the top. When the rock starts sliding back, two things hit: the feeling of loss and the shame. That quiet voice, "I couldn't do it." Yet sometimes the rock doesn't fall because you failed. It falls because the slope was drawn unnecessarily steep. A design flaw looks like a performance flaw. That's common in corporate life. The wrong target with excellent effort. The wrong market with a great product. The wrong metric with a perfect chart. If a fast horse runs the wrong way, speed just amplifies the loss. So can we make a deal with the rock? I'm not going to push you every day, but on the days I push, I'll really move you upward. Call it rhythm architecture. Rhythm architecture is one antidote to burnout. It says, not every day, the right day, not every hour, the right hour, not every target, the right target. The science is basic. Work in waves. Don't burn all your glucose and focus in one exhale. Break it into periods. Treat yourself not like a battery, but like a tide. And yes, it sounds simple, but it defies the culture. Because culture claps for people who burn in one breath. Let me tell you 3 stories. First, an ER nurse. Her rock wasn't the fatigue. It was that the cases never end. Even on her best day, there's always another patient. There's meaning, but there's endless flow. Her solution was micro-closure rituals. After each patient, a 30-second reset. 2 deep breaths, a sip of water, 1 note, 1 sentence. This case is complete. Not magic, system. When the rock rolls, she doesn't chase it down. She meets the next rock with a different shoulder. Tiny method, but it tells the nervous system things do end, and I do not. Second story, a software manager. His rock was accumulated decisions. Every decision boomeranged back the next day. Obsessed with speed, he set a rule for himself. Answer any question from the team within 5 minutes. It made him feel like a hero and made the team dependent. The system couldn't breathe. Together, we set a new rule. Not fast answers, clear frames. Replies within 24 hours, but 70% of questions get directed to a framing document. 3 months later, the rock is the same, the hill is the same, but the incline changed. He distributed the weight onto objects, process, library, authority. Third story, a realtor dad. You know this rock. Every client says, "Can we see it today?" Every listing feels like, if we miss it, it's gone. Little league in the evenings, open houses on weekends. He imagined the courage to drop it as dramatic. Quit the job, move cities. What he dropped wasn't the job. It was the illusion of 24/7 availability. He wrote an auto reply, "I schedule showings in these windows. If urgent, use this link." 2 months later, revenue didn't dip, it rose, because boundaries signal quality to clients. Boundary is the rock's shape. With a shape, the rock doesn't roll away. With a shape, it gains meaning. Let me clarify something. When I say drop it, I don't mean ditch responsibility. The courage to drop it is the courage to drop the wrong target, the wrong rhythm, the wrong role, the wrong expectation. It's not only saying no, it's saying instead this. Sometimes Monday morning isn't about deleting the first 10 items on your list. It's about moving them into a different system, a stop-doing list. Burnout's invisible fuel is tasks that are unnecessary, yet trigger guilt. Guilt weighs more on your nervous system than the rock itself, because guilt makes the rock slip. Now, a quick philosophical take on the myth without the classroom voice. Some say Sisyphus is happy because he finds meaning in the act of pushing. I partially agree. Yes, rhythmic labor can be a meditation, but there are 2 conditions. 1, the rock is your choice, or at least you can choose its direction. 2, you can sit beside the rock and breathe now and then. If you never put the rock down to look at the hill, you can't form a relationship with it. In the modern world, those sit moments don't happen unless they're scheduled. That's why space has to be planned. Space isn't the enemy of production. It's the mirror that shows you how you produce. Your mind may be asking, nice talk, but what do we do? Good. Practices aren't useless. Purposeless practices are. So we'll align practices with the rock's 3 states: pushing, slipping, waiting. When pushing, monotask. One thing. Truly, one thing. Open a window of 45 to 90 minutes. One goal, one app. Turn off notifications. Put your phone in another room. The hard part is the start. The brain likes friction. Grit your teeth for the first 3 minutes, then pushing turns into flow. 2 or 3 of these windows a day are enough. The rest is minor rock straightening. When slipping, automatic reframe. As it slides, swap "I failed" for 2 questions. Did the system work? And is the slope right? If not, fix the system. If the slope is wrong, fix the target. Don't try to fix yourself. Fixing yourself is putting a second rock on top of the first. When waiting, real rest, not passive doom scrolling, things that lower your nervous system and soften your eye muscles. A walk, water, breathing, a short nap. Sure, the word nap sounds funny in the US, but the evidence is clear. 15 to 20 minutes with eyes closed takes out the brain's trash. Rest isn't the opposite of work. It's the condition for work. Work and rest are 2 halves of the same rhythm. If you can't set the rhythm in your organization, set the boundaries around it. You don't have to auto-reply when someone senior emails you. Make a communication contract. I reply to emails between 11 and 12 and 4 and 5. Create a rule for meetings. No 15-minute meeting without a written agenda. If nobody writes one, the meeting either gets canceled or cut in half. That's not rigidity, it's courtesy. Time isn't someone else's toy. Now, feelings. Burnout isn't just fatigue, it's grief. You're grieving a loss you haven't admitted, your old energy, your romanticized self, the "I can handle everything" hero. Without grieving, you don't build the next version. So one night, with overdue honesty, write this: rocks I no longer carry. Put in names, projects, expectations. Guilt will show up. Sit with it. Then a second list: weights that keep me alive. They might look like rocks, but they're not. They're foundations. Family dinner, morning walks, a book, quiet. These don't shrink your work. They enlarge it. When you grow, your work grows. Here's something I love about the American story. It rarely shames people who change direction. It often respects them. There are thousands who go back to their hometowns to do different work, switch industries to start over, jump from startup to nonprofit. I'm not romanticizing it. There's a cost. But it's cheaper than silent burnout. Silent burnout turns life into interest-bearing debt. You borrow from today and pay double tomorrow. Changing direction protects your principal. Let's flip the metaphor further. Dropping the rock sometimes means transforming it. A rock can be a bench. A rock can be a step. A step symbolizes going up, but a bench makes sitting possible. You can take rocks from one stretch of your career and turn them into benches in the next. Use your skills for mentoring, move your pace into teaching, convert your sector knowledge into advising. That transformation takes courage, yes, but it's also technical, mapping skills to a variety of use cases. Turn the skill from a rock into a module. Maybe the most valuable way to change the rock's direction is to define anti-goals. Write down what you refuse to be. No emails after 11 p.m. Maximum 12 flights a year. 30% of meetings are asynchronous. Unless you write the boundaries, people pretend they don't exist. And nothing delights others more than owning the boundaries you didn't claim. Now comes a little consent talk with yourself. With my permission, I'm going to do this project at a lower speed and higher quality. It sounds odd, but it works because your brain takes the word permission seriously. When you give yourself permission, your inner critic quiets down. When the critic quiets down, the designer speaks. When the designer speaks, the rock takes shape. What about everyone else? Boss, team, client, family? When you say, "I'm putting the rock down," they may panic. That's normal. Your rhythm used to sit inside theirs. So when you announce the shift, produce confidence, not chaos. Starting this date, here's how I'll work. These hours are fast. These hours are deep. This channel is for urgent. Let's set expectations accordingly. Clarity breeds trust. Uncertainty breeds fear. Burnout runs on the fuel of uncertainty. Clarity pulls out the tank. Take a deep breath. My question is simple. Which rock can you drop today? Dropping doesn't have to be a dramatic resignation. You can drop 3 email threads. You can drop the reflex to constantly check. You can decline 1 meeting. You can move Sunday night work to Tuesday morning. They look small, but in the physics of the rock, tiny angle changes have massive effects. If the slope drops by 1 degree, it becomes a different mountain. And humor. Humor is one of the few forces the rock can't sabotage. Laughing at our loops isn't belittling them. It breaks their spell. Put self-important meeting on the calendar, and it shrinks itself to 30 minutes. Stick a note on your screen that says, "Are you pushing a rock or drawing the hill?" And you keep the direction question awake. Laughter is a cousin of letting go because it chooses truth over stiffness. Now the end of the myth. Picture Sisyphus's face. Some see acceptance, some see defiance. I see something else, the face of someone who just discovered their own rhythm. The rock is still there, the hill is still there, but the shoulder angle changed. He's no longer defined by the rock. He defines the rock. That face is the opposite of burnout. In burnout, the face goes blank and the rhythm comes from outside. When the rhythm moves inside, the face returns. For a small closing ritual, try this tonight. Open a page. At the top, write, "Rocks I leave, meanings I carry." 2 columns, 3 items on the left, 3 on the right. Do the left column today. Put the right column on this week's calendar. Fold the page and put it in your pocket. Each time your hand touches it tomorrow on your way to work, your brain gets the signal. We're doing it differently this time. Ritual turns intent into reality. I can't promise life's load will get lighter, but I can promise this. When you draw the direction, the load becomes less of a weight and more of a shape. Shape is the language of art. What turns work into art isn't the rock's shine. It's how you carry it. And sometimes art is making a bench out of the rock and sitting on it. Drop 1 rock today, maybe tiny, maybe invisible to everyone else. You'll notice. Because when that rock doesn't roll, you'll finally see a different view from the hill. And that view is the courage to begin again.